You know him as the leader of Pride, Jeffrey Wilder. Please welcome Ryan Sands. Keep it going. Up next, she plays fierce and calculating lawyer, Catherine Wilder. Please welcome Angel Parker. She plays an upstanding citizen and leader of the church, Leslie Dean. Please welcome Annie Wershing. It's Annie plus one. She plays everyone's favorite bioengineer, Stacey Yorks. Please welcome Bridget Brandow. We have the powerful CEO of Wizard, Tina Manuru. Please welcome Brittany Ishibashi. And we have everyone's favorite staff-wielding goth hero, Nika. Last but very not least, she plays anti-patriarchy and dinosaur whisperer Gert. Please welcome Ariela. Y'all give it up one more time for our Runaways panel. I'm gonna scooch in closer to y'all.
Kurt Chase.
Woo!
Yes.
So, I wanted to start off. We have so many amazing women out here, which is not really common for superhero franchises. I have to say, I grew up in the Comic-Con space. Yeah. So, what is it like to work with so many amazing women on the cast?
Ryan.
Yeah, Ryan specifically.
I think it's amazing.
Good answer.
They paid him to say that.
That was good, right? That's good? Okay, I think it's amazing. I mean, their representation is everything. I grew up wanting to see myself in the shows I watched and sort of work with all of these amazingly talented, beautiful, strong, creative, artistic women. I mean, it's dope. And I mean, I'm happy for everybody to be able to finally see someone in all of these faces that they can relate to. So it's great.
Well, it's good. It's rare, right? You don't usually get to see this, to have a cast this large that's so female-centric and also incredibly diverse. Like over half of the series regulars are diverse. I think that's a pretty powerful thing.
I will say, because I think for Lyrica and I, this was one of our first real big jobs, and I love having so many women to look up to, and I can confidently say I've picked up bits of wisdom from every single woman on this panel, and it's so exciting to just like have people that make me feel safe on set, and with Stephanie, our showrunner, also, it's really lovely to have people to look up to just like in a daily setting.
Yeah, how lucky are we? We get to work at our favorite like playground with all of our best friends all the time.
The hair and makeup trailer takes some time though, I must say. Us all getting dressed and getting ready every day. We do have a lot of fun. There's a lot of cool hair and cool makeup and then yeah, just a lot of high heels and strong women and strong storylines. And the women, I mean, especially the women of the Pride, we're kind of evil and awful and great, and it's really, really fun to play.
We have a text thread called Women of the Pride, and we talk a lot.
You guys spill a lot of tea? I was going to say, as far as you don't always get to be in front of a live audience, and you have so many people that are here that are excited about your characters, what is something that you hope to get across now that you have the opportunity? What is a message or something that you hope that people take away from your character?
I think it's very interesting being like buzzwords, but queer women of color and being representing people, and it's interesting because I feel like our identities are inherently politicized a lot of the time, so to be able to just exist in a public space is in itself a very powerful thing. And then I love being able to get a sense of community, even from the fans who message me saying like, I make them feel less alone. It's the same both ways. So I think that's kind of the thing I've been getting the most from these is like feeling the actual community in person and knowing that we're helping each other and just making the world as wonderful as it can be for ourselves and each other.
You're so good at this.
I think way too much coffee. I'm shaking.
I actually think that being part of the Pride, the parents were evil, all of those things, but I actually think we look at things very black and white, and the fact that the Pride, we do really bad things, but we started out for good reasons. I feel like just understanding that the explanation that all of us are not just black and white, we're actually many things, and the kids go through so much that maybe they don't make the best choices, and that things are a little more gray than they are black and white, and it's hard out there, so we all need to work on that a little bit.
I was gonna say, I do like that about superhero franchises in general, is that things aren't black and white. Sometimes you have to do things that maybe morally you don't always approve of, but it's for the good of the people that you love and care about. So I agree with that. I was gonna say, you had talked a little bit, Ariela, you had talked a little bit about identity, and I know that we have a lot of teens out here. I know that being a teen can be a really turbulent time. I know because I used to stay in and write Vegeta and Bulma fan fiction on fanfiction.net. Yeah, that was me, writing some of those lemons. Those are the spicy ones. I was 13, whatever, I was exploring. So what advice do all of you have for teens that are struggling with their identity as people that were teens and have a large teen following?
I guess I would say believe in yourself. I grew up at a time, so I would be out there with you if I wasn't on this show. I love everything associated with anything superhero. I'm there for it, right? And I have been since I was a kid. But when I was a kid, you used to kind of have to hide that. You used to have to kind of keep your comic books in your backpack, and you find your boy and you whisper about it in the corner because it wasn't cool. Look at this now, though. So it's cool now. It's everywhere now. It's like driving the box office now. So just stay true to who you are. Your time is going to come around for sure. So just stay the course.
Yeah, and I was a teenager once, and it was not an easy time. And there were many moments during my school years that I felt like I felt really, really alone. And it feels really isolating, and it's not a warm feeling. But know this, that high school is just a few years. It's not forever. And it gets a lot better because, you're gonna find a community of people that accept you and love you for who you are, as they obviously should. And good times are ahead.
Yeah, it gets better.
Yeah. I think my biggest regret in high school was ever dulling myself down to kind of fit in, and I find that had I shamelessly pursued the passions that I was interested in, I would be a lot further along today than I was. So I think my advice would be just shamelessly indulge in everything that people tell you is too much or is uncool or whatever, because ultimately that could be your greatest strength. You could make a life out of that, and you could be so happy, and you will find a community that values your skills and your knowledge. So screw anyone who tells you it's not enough.
I think with all the social media out there, I think there are so many opinions coming at teenagers these days. I mean, everything becomes public immediately. And I think it's just very important to remember that it's not the world's opinion of you that matters. It is your own opinion of yourself that matters. How you feel in your world with your relationships, and the public really has nothing to do with who you actually are and your intimate, personal feelings about your own life. And that's most important.
And also just trusting that your identity will constantly be evolving, and that's okay. And I think for me, when I was a teenager, I felt like I needed to have it set and perfect and just right. And that freaked me out, the pressure of needing to figure out what exactly that looked like for me. And I think if you can just trust in yourself and always come from a place of love, and just know that as relationships come and go with other people or your environment or whatever it is that you're going through, it's okay. Like, things are going to change, your identity is always going to change, and that's one of the most beautiful things of life.
And I think the teens in our show, they're so amazing to look up to for teens. I mean, I know you guys are teens. But, they actually are standing up against the wrong that they see happening in the world. And I think that's a huge thing these days and not something to be taken lightly. I mean, when I was a teen, I was looking up to She-Ra, which she's awesome. But, these characters, the kids are so relatable, yet really, I mean, it's huge that they all, I'm not saying leave home, but, it's huge that they stand up against their parents who are doing this wrongdoing for the better of, they want to make the world better.
I don't think I can ask y'all a lot about season 2. So instead I wanted to ask you about some of the behind the scenes stuff, like some of the stories, or it seems like you guys have really become a family together. Is there anything that you can share as far as like behind the scenes of being a family, what it's like to work all together, any con stories that you can spill? We just want the goods. We want the behind the scenes goods.
Well, I can say that we all know the kids have run away, and season 2 is all about getting them back. So the Pride does everything that they can in their power and things that they should do and should not do to try to do that. But it's really about the runaways and how they're navigating life and figuring out how to live on their own, figuring out what their true beliefs are, who they believe, who they don't believe, and there's a lot of alliances, and it gets really, really good because you don't know who to trust within the Pride or within the Runaways.
I think another exciting thing with season 2 is you're finding all of these kids come into their own power and figure out their identity, and you have these 6 kids who are doing it together at the same time in a very tight space, so it creates a lot of wonderful drama and also wonderful intimate emotional moments too, and funny stuff.
Lots of fun stuff. I'm trying really hard to think of behind the scenes stories. I'm trying so hard. Do you have any behind the scenes stuff?
Do we have, I don't know, other than the fact that you won't let me take a picture alone ever, and I have all these photos of you on my phone that I can't post yet because of, Marvel's so secret about all that stuff.
I know a kind of funny-ish thing. I got my wisdom teeth out like 4 days before we started shooting season 2. So in the first episode, I just had like chipmunk cheeks.
Right, but you had them contoured your face to make it look.
Well, half the time, like different parts of my face would swell up, so I'd have to be like, okay, left side today is really puffy. So it would just like kind of make me look like a normal person again.
That was fun.
That was really fun.
I can tell you that Lyrica is really good at taking a late night nap on like 4 chairs, expanded it.
I am a professional napper. I can sleep here.
That is a superpower.
Take some good photos on 4 chairs under folding chairs.
And the way you contort your body to fit into different spaces is so impressive.
You do what you need to do.
You gotta take care of yourself.
Yeah, you gotta take care of yourself, honey.
I will say my 4-year-old is obsessed with Lyrica, he calls her. He always wants to know if I'm going to go see Auntie Lyrica, and when Lyrica's coming over, he's in love with her.
No, but your son visited the set, and he saw me in Nico form, and he couldn't look at me.
He was a little, well, I think it was like when you come to face to face with your love, and then also he was terrified because you're wearing a lot of crazy makeup.
Something felt different that day. I hope everything's okay.
Another question that I had, since you are in the Marvel universe, if you could have any Marvel character, we're just playing, this is just pretend. If you could have any Marvel character appear for an episode in your show, who would it be and why?
I think my answer only recently changed. I like Luke Cage just because I want to see him on TV again.
Yes!
Good point. Yeah, Luke Cage. Bring him back.
And if they can throw in shades too, like please bring them both. Yes.
I want more content.
And Misty Knight. Never mind. If they could just have the whole cast. Yeah. Can we work that out?
Well, I keep thinking the agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. have to show up at some point, right? I mean, I think the Wilders would call them in or something, they'd show up, or, I mean, we all want Cloak and Dagger to show up too, so. We'll see. There are some fun surprises in season 2.
Oh.
And some characters that pop up from the original series, so that's fun.
I think it would be really awesome if Shuri came over and we could do like some Wakanda wizard tech. Like we could just, I mean, can you imagine what the world would look like if like Wakanda tech and like wizard tech got together? And I think Tina would love that.
I have a 5-year-old, so if I don't say Captain America, I'm in trouble. Yeah, he may stick out a little bit, but...
I think Spider-Man would enjoy hanging out with the Runaways.
He's gonna just come into the mansion and just...
I think so.
Yeah, spread out a web.
He might even go to the same school, you know, so as a teenager.
Yeah, right? Atlas Academy, Spider-Man just...
Yeah.
Transfer student.
Yeah, transfer student. Yeah, they are. It can work. It can work. Oh, there they are!
Nice.
I see a few Gerts out here in the crowd too, right? I see a couple Gerts. Hi.
Yeah, who wears a Runaways cosplay? Can you raise your hands?
There's a dinosaur.
Oh, we got one over here too.
Oh my God, there's a dinosaur over there. There's a little dinosaur over there too.
Yes.
Oh, there's a staff. There, you guys look great.
And you're wearing the Do Not Disturb Me jacket.
Oh wow!
Great. This is great.
Nice.
Good stuff, guys. Good stuff.
Oh, that's old lady.
Oh my gosh, there is a puppy here.
I love this so much.
The dog is
Now
in
he just
costume.
needs a dinosaur outfit. That would be perfect.
That's beautiful.
So I actually have a question for the parents, because some of y'all are parents. Does that change how you approach your character? Does it make it more difficult to be evil to these kids? When I was watching y'all's show the first time I binged it, I was like, do y'all love your kids? Do they love their kids? But I think they do. I mean, I've watched, I mean, we all had that question, like, get real. Although I will say my parents, you know, probably did want to get rid of me a couple of times, so I'm sure they can relate. I'm sure every parent feels that way. But does that change how you approach your character?
For me, as long as I do nothing that Leslie Dean would do in my real life, I'm good.
I think the parents love their kids. I think that's why we're fighting so hard to get them back. And I do have kids. My kids are here, and their friends are here. That's my little dinosaur dog over there. So yes, it is very similar in the way that you know that you would do anything for your child. I don't know if I would kill and sacrifice, but you never know. I mean, don't put me up against the wall. You never know. It is a little easy to play some of those scenes, so maybe I'm a little worried about my parenting. I'm not so sure.
I did go home once after like a really heavy Tina day, and there was like food all over the floor, and my 1-year-old was like throwing oatmeal and like throwing food, and I like looked at her, and I gave her like a Tina look, and my 4-year-old just went, oh, I'm in man.
How is Kai that sassy already? Like, where did he learn this from?
I wonder where he learned that from.
I don't know. Brittany's a sweet girl, so I'm.
I know it doesn't come from nowhere. You gotta, duality.
Well, we have to wrap up our panel. I know some of y'all are going to be doing signings afterwards, which I believe there will be a sign for, so y'all can catch them. Any final words or final thoughts? Everybody get a selfie? Okay, we're getting a selfie. Oh my gosh. Just tag me in it.